So if I understand correctly, you've always loved acting. Was performing at the beginning just an extension of play, or were you driven from the start to make acting your career path?
That's a good question. I mean, it's always play, but I knew from a very early age that my brain wasn't wired to do, I didn't connect really much in school, and I didn't test well, and I knew that I wasn't gonna go the regular path, whatever that meant. And so when I started doing theater, it felt like an immediate relief of like, oh, I can do this, and I also started working at a theme park when I was 13, and I was acting, and whenever I realized I could potentially make money doing this, I was like, this is the career that I want. So yeah, I think at a very early age I knew that if it was possible to have a career in this, that was the dream. Yeah.
Amazing. That's a great answer. I love that. And also the theme park thing. That's
yeah, it's a great theme park. It's Silver Dollar City.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm like new to the area, so I'll have to go. So very early on in your professional career, you landed a big role in a major Hollywood film, Pacific Rim Uprising. So let's talk a bit about what it was like to dive into the deep end like that so early on. What did you learn from that experience?
Well, I'm actually from Missouri.
Okay.
I'm from southern Missouri. So yeah, I was like being baptized into fire a little bit. Like I had really nothing on my resume at all, and I was still living in Missouri when I booked that role. So it was whatever the complete opposite of flying first class to live in Australia for 6 months and being the female lead of a franchise film. That the opposite of that was my life before, So it was overwhelming, but it changed me completely as a person. And I think a lot of that has to do with traveling in general, and it's something that I recommend everyone if they have that luxury to do it. Just opened me up to different ideas and lifestyles and beliefs. So that was for me as a human being, that's what I learned. But also getting to work on the movie with John Boyega, who I spent the most time with, was really helpful for me I was learning how to act in the middle of the scenes, like I had never done anything like this before, and John was a great person to look up to and really study on what he did before scenes, how he sort of commanded a set in the take control of leading a movie. I just tried to soak in as much as possible, and I feel really lucky from that experience.
Awesome. Okay, so number 3. So in Bad Times at the El Royale, you play Rose, a character that becomes the follower of a cult leader. By the end of the movie, we discover how dark that character really is. Do you prefer to play roles like this one, where you play someone who isn't good or redeeming?
That's an interesting question, because I never saw her as bad. I saw her as, she was very much influenced and naive. But the fun part of that film was just getting to play in that genre, that thriller mind space, like whodunit film, and also getting to play in a time period, and getting to sink my teeth into something like cults, So that was the fun part of that movie. But I didn't really think of it as, oh, I'm playing like an evil character, even though my character does murder people, so maybe I should have. But, it is kind of like a trap when you start acting to be like good person, bad person. Like, you always want to try to show all of it. But that movie was very fun to do.
Yeah, this is the one. I didn't watch Pacific Rim, but
you
I
need
have
to
seen
watch
this
it.
movie, and it is,
it's a fun movie.
It's very fun.
No one really saw it, but like,
oh my gosh,
it's I would recommend.
I was like, oh my god, that's that girl. Like, that's so cool. So next question.
Will you grab the head?
Also, as Rose was obsessed with the Billy Lee character in the film, I'm curious if there's anything you are obsessed with or can't get enough of.
I mean, the first thing that pops in my head is really like lame, but I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years, and I just like really love him, and I love being in love. I recommend it to anyone. It's really hard, and there's been a lot of bumps in the road, but like it's just nice to like completely want to be around a person 90% of the time. I feel like that's rare, and yeah, I am sort of obsessed with it a little bit. Okay.
Okay, so last year, let me just make sure that we were going along. Okay, so last year you played the lead role in The Craft Legacy, which is a descendant of the original film, made a year before you were born.
2 years, actually.
Oh, really? So you're 98?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the film was made in 96, so Jessica, maybe it's a Wikipedia thing. How much did you want to pay homage to the original, and in what way did you want to update the story with how you approached your character?
Yeah, I think we did want to pay homage in like an Easter eggy way, you know, in the costumes, and you know we had to put Liza Feather stiff as a board in there. Just little subtle moments, I think, but overall we did want to just the way that the story was. We wanted it to not feel sort of made for the male gaze, you know, as so many epic 90s films that I love, but you look back and you're like, well, you know, something that felt current and uplifted teenagers and uplifted women. So in that sense, we wanted to take it on a different path. And character-wise, I just wanted the kids to feel like real kids, you know. I didn't want them to be overly whatever. I wanted young teenagers to be like, oh yeah, that's actually how I dress and I talk, and there's awkward moments and rough patches, whatever, and so that sort of was my thought process going into it.
Amazing. Okay, so more recently you had a pivotal role in the TV miniseries Mayor of Easttown, which I loved. That stars Kate Winslet, like such an icon.
Yeah.
You played the murder victim, Erin. Can you talk a bit more about what it was like to work on that project, considering that your role is key and yet your screen time was limited? How did you try to how did you try to be impactful with a role like that?
It's a really good question, because I think it's like deceivingly, or at least when I got it and heard about it, it's only going to be like a week of work. I'm like, oh, okay. Great people, week of work. Sort of thought it was going to be slightly easy, but it was deceivingly difficult to portray a character that you cared enough about to be thinking for the whole 7 episodes. And obviously, I don't take really any of that credit, but you know, it was a big deal. You know, we had to care about this young girl getting murdered, and you know, see those parts of her life that made the story even more tragic. But I actually, it's funny, I just tried to ground it as much as I possibly could, and I did a lot of watching 16 and Pregnant. Like a lot. Like I was just in my hotel room just bawling my eyes out. But it was also tricky in the sense that it got shut down during the pandemic, and we weren't going to come back. It almost didn't get finished. You know, it was almost going to be completely scrapped, which is crazy to think about. But one of the challenges, for example, was I had a set of twins that played my baby, and by the time 6 months later, pandemic, the babies were walking and, you know, basically adults, and we had to change scenes up where I was gonna have a baby in my arm, and then I had to end up they had like a fake baby that I did a lot of my scenes with. That was very creepy and off-putting. And then I was like, just change it to a Post-it note. So I did a lot of scenes to my baby that was actually like creepy baby or Post-it note. So those are some tidbits about that show.
Amazing. I love the creepy baby.
We had a name for it too. It was like Walter or something.
Walter the creepy baby. Oh my gosh. Those are the things about like making film. It's just like, I can't believe that this is part of the job, is like talking to like a fake.
Yeah, it wasn't. I was very worried because I'm like, having a real baby like makes the scene alive, you know, and it's unpredictable, and it feels like it's a real deal. The baby's the best actor in the scenes. You know, it makes you better. And then having to like, I showed up to work and they're like, yeah, so don't have a baby. and to convey that you're talking to your child that you're in love with, just sitting on a bed was tricky, but I think it worked.
Yeah, you pulled it off. It's the show is really amazing.
Thank you.
You achieved a lot with that character, and you said it was only a week.
It ended up being stretched out because of the pandemic,
because
but it was like a week and a half of work.
Oh wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Awesome. Would you say it's harder to go into a project like The Craft Legacy where people are familiar with the story, or something totally new, such as your upcoming film, How It Ends?
Definitely something totally new. I mean, even though I try to not think about those things when you're working on something that, had such an iconic following, or, a cult following, and so many people loved it, you do have those thoughts running in the back of your brain, like, there's going to be people who automatically hate the film before it even comes out, And so that pressure is tricky to work through. And so, How It Ends was completely it was also, we were filming it during the pandemic, so it just felt completely new and a fun challenge that it also felt like we can't mess this up. Like, we're just doing this for the need of making art during this time, and there was no pressure, so that one was definitely much easier to do.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I feel like I could have answered that for you as well. Like, as a big nerd sci-fi horror fan, that's just kind of how it rolls, especially with women and whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so the premise of How It Ends is quite interesting. It all takes place on the last day on Earth, and you play the younger self of the main character, Liza. Not only that, you interact throughout the film with the main character. So I'm curious, how do you try and get into that mindset of that sort of role, which isn't a traditional character?
Yeah, so I'm playing like a metaphysical younger self, and that one was actually easy because I had done Zoe co-wrote it and starred in it, Zoe Lister-Jones, who also directed The Craft. So, and we made 2 movies within a year of knowing each other, so we got very close very quickly. And The Craft character was actually based off of her life a little bit, so when we were making that, I started to get to know her very well. And whenever the pandemic hit, she was kind of my person that I was calling almost every day. She's like my a therapist friend, And so a lot of the conversations we were having were about how to heal our younger selves and what that meant. And so from those conversations and the fact that Daryl wanted to make something birth this character of playing your younger self and how to release all of the, trauma and stuff from being young and connecting to that feeling in person again. So that it felt really seamless and easy. The conversations were sort of based on Zoe and I's 5 feet apart conversations that we were having during the pandemic. So it was fun and chill and really good and cathartic for the both of us.
Yeah. Another question that we have, which I feel like, you fully answered, but is there anything that you'd like to expound on, just because, she did write, direct, and produce, the film, and she starred in it. So, as you playing off of her, what is it like, the question is, what is it like to work on a project like that when it's such a personal project to someone and you're, an extension of them?
A lot of the times it's harder, I found, when I know that it's so personal to the writer, director, or they're pulling a lot from their experiences, or they're writing monologues that are directly pulled from their life, that I witnessed Zoe do on both projects, just because there's this pressure of telling a very personal story for them. But for some reason, the How It Ends was, like I said, just really easy because we were collaborating with people who, for some of them, it was their first time acting since the pandemic, and it just felt like a real collaboration. We didn't know what was going to happen to it. We're like, this could just go and disappear, and it's no big deal. It was really just for fun, and it ended up going to all the festivals, and now we're promoting it, and it's great, but that wasn't the goal when we were making it. It was easy.
Amazing. So besides acting, I also understand that you're a singer. What does singing do for you creatively that acting doesn't?
Oh my goodness. It's so funny. I haven't made music in so long, but I did. It's like sort of embarrassing, but I actually came to LA being like, I want to be a musician, which then turned into something else, obviously, but I like wrote my own music whenever I was 13, and my first ever experience of being on stage really was I started a band when I was 11 with everyone else's boys, and we would do like covers around town and perform at birthday parties and stuff. So I definitely have a deep love for music, but I think I'm more just like it's just a fun hobby now, which is great to have, and I'm so glad I have it. But I would love to incorporate it in my work somehow. I would love to do a musical. Musicals are back and bigger than ever now, so I would really like to see if I could make that happen and work. So I guess that's sort of the element that I would like to incorporate into my life now.
Cool. Well, I mean, that goes, like, you're putting it out into the world. Our next question is, you know, you have quite an eclectic and interesting career in film for someone so young. What creative challenge do you want to take on next? Is there a genre that you would like to explore more? Maybe a musical?
Yeah, musicals for sure. I also loved I think the hardest genre, if I were to pick for myself, would be comedy. I'm absolutely terrified of it. And I think it's a real gift to have comedic timing and to be, you just have to be on it, sharp, witty. And I got to watch some of the best in the game when I did How It Ends, like Fred Armisen and Lamorne, and Olivia Wilde was so hilarious. It was amazing. And a lot of it was improv. It was like half improv, half written. So it was fun to watch that, and I got to do a little bit, jump in a little bit with improv, but I would love to explore that world and that genre a little bit more too. But yeah, it's always felt intentional to do as many things as possible, as many different things. I always like to ask myself after I finish a project, what is the complete opposite? Like, how do I go completely in a different direction right after I finish something? Which I think is a luxurious question, but if I, put it out into the world and see what happens, and I think I've gotten really lucky with that sort of happening in my career, and I hope I can keep it up.